All righty, so we got week 2 of the NFL. Thursday night game, we got the Eagles and the Vikings. The Eagles are at home and they're favored to win by 6. I got the Eagles winning and I got them covering that 6-point spread. So yeah, I definitely got the Eagles winning at home and covering the 6. Sunday's games, you got the Packers versus the Falcons, and they have the Falcons as a 1.5 favorite at home. I'm gonna have to go with the Packers upsetting the Falcons. I'm gonna have to go with them upsetting the Falcons. Yeah, I'm just not sold on the Falcons offense. Their offense didn't do well last week. London and who's the other receiver? Pitts, that tight end. Yeah, they didn't do anything at all. So yeah, I got the Packers. But Atlanta is at home. Their defense looked like it got better as far as personnel. They got some. They picked up some good defensive people, but still think the Packers. I still think the Packers look like they pretty much kept everybody except Rodgers. They still pretty much have a nice little team, and they put it on the team they played last week. So yeah, I got the Packers upsetting the Falcons. Next one is the Raiders and the Bills. They got the Bills favored at home, 8.5. Yeah, I'm not sold on that 8.5. I'm not sold on the Bills covering that. I think the Bills do win, but hey, the Raiders can match talent with anybody as far as offensively. And defensively, they got that defensive end that's solid, tattooed up guy. So yeah, I think the Bills win, but I don't think they cover that 8.5. Yeah, I'm not sure. That's risky. So that's at your own risk there. The Ravens versus the Bengals. They got the Bengals favored by 3 points. I think the Bengals do win. They I don't see them going 0-2 against another division rival. They usually are able to handle their divisional opponents. They usually come hard in divisional games. I'm surprised by how Cleveland did them, but I'm just not sold on Lamar against top teams, especially in the division. I think the Bengals win. I think they cover that 3. I think they cover that 3. Don't get me wrong. Hey, it could it could be close. I definitely think it is probably going to be a close one, but I think the Bengals cover that 3. That's just my opinion. The Seahawks versus the Lions. They got the Lions favored at home, 4.5. I don't agree with that. The Lions covering that 4.5. I think the Seahawks beat the Lions. I'm just don't get me wrong. It was impressive what the Lions did last week. They got a stud defensive end too. He's a stud. I'm not sold on Golf. Not sold on Golf, even though he has receivers. That Saint dude, the one that has Saint in his name, that receiver. Oh man, he's solid. He's absolutely solid. And so and the Lions, man, they play motivated on defense, but I'm just not convinced. Not convinced with Golf. He's too inconsistent. And the Seahawks, they're coming off a loss to the Rams. And, the Rams are at home. Now, the Seahawks. I'm not sure who was at home with that one, but I was surprised by how the Rams did the Seahawks. They were picking the Seahawks defense apart, picking them apart. And the Seahawks still got that veteran Wagner. But other than that, they really defensively kind of lacking. But offensively, they compete with anybody. They got Lockett and Metcalf. So yeah, and then a solid running back too. He's solid. So I think the Seahawks bounce back this week, and I think they upset the Lions. You got the Chargers versus the Titans. They have the Chargers favored by 3 in Tennessee. That game. I think the Chargers win. Tua lit them up last week. I thought Bosa and Mack was gonna, be a lot better against Tua and put that pressure on him, but Tua lit him up. Tua absolutely lit him up. The Titans, I mean, hey, Henry looked like Henry. I mean, he's running that ball nice. He looked like Henry. They got DeAndre Hopkins, and so they got a go-to receiver for sure. Hey, and they try to force it to him too. They try to force it, so they definitely try to get him the ball. I got the Chargers winning. I just don't. Yeah, that -3. I'm not sure about that in Tennessee. They could cover, but I'll say that's risky. I do have the Chargers winning though. Would I be surprised if the Titans won? I mean, hey, Henry can go crazy. So hey, that's a risky one. Bears versus the Bucks. I got the Bucks winning that in Tampa. They got the Bucks favored by 2.5. I do think they cover that 2.5. Yeah, so the next game, you got the Chiefs versus the Jags. The Chiefs got Chris Jones and look like Kelsey's going to play. So both of them playing, and they have the Chiefs favored by 3.5 in Jacksonville. At 3.5 is risky. Do say the Chiefs win, but hey, I wouldn't be surprised if the Jags won this one at home. But I do think the Chiefs, I don't see them going 0-2. Pretty much in with Chris Jones and Kelsey back. So yeah, I see the Chiefs edging that game out. At 3.5 though, that's that's at your own risk. That 3.5. Yeah, I'm not sure on that 3.5. I think it's gonna be a close, tough one. You got the Colts versus the Texans. You got the Texans favored at home 1.5. I do think the Texans win that. I mean, to me, it's kind of a toss-up. But I'm favoring the Texans, DeMeco Ryans, the head coach, to go ahead and sneak a W in against the Colts. I mean, the Colts, they played solid last week. They really did, but just not convinced that, they're going to do it again this week. But the way they looked last week, you would probably think they're going to win, but I'm going to have to go with the Texans edging out a victory. Texans got a good, solid running back, and, they throw a couple of good passes. Got Schultz at tight end, picked up Woods, the Nico Collins. So, I think I got the Texans going ahead and winning that. And so the 1.5, yeah, that is kind of low. Yeah, they probably even cover the 1.5. But, that's kind of a 50-50 game to me. Got the Niners versus the Rams. They got the Niners favored by 7.5 in LA. And I agree with that. I mean, I think the Niners win, and I think they cover that 7.5. I think the Niners are just that much better than the Rams. And I'm not convinced that the Rams and Stafford will do what they did last week against the Niners. I don't think they'll do that. I think the Niners are gonna spank them in LA. I think the Niners cover that 7.5. You got the Giants versus the Cardinals. I think the Giants bounce back. I mean, the Cowboys destroyed them, so I think they're gonna bounce back and definitely look better this game. I think they're gonna put it on the Cardinals. Cardinals still got that backup quarterback. I think the Giants bounce back, and I think they win easily. I think they cover that 4.5. I think they definitely cover that 4.5. I think it's safe to go and pick the Giants and cover in Arizona. You got the Jets versus the Cowboys. The Cowboys are favored by -9, so they're favored by 9 points. I'm not sure about that cover that 9. I mean, if you look at the game last week, you would think so. But I'm just not sure. The Jets definitely can run the ball. They can run the ball, and they play motivated defensively. That head coach got them playing motivated defensively. And so, Yeah, and like I said, they can run. They can run that ball. Two solid running backs got Cook, and then the one guy that came off injury, Brees Hall. So hey, he's solid. He's solid. So I don't know about. I got Dallas winning. Got Dallas winning that game, but I don't know about them covering the 9. Yeah, that to me that's risky. You got the Commanders versus the Broncos. They got the Broncos favored at home by 3.5. I do have the Broncos winning that. They lost just by 1 point against the Raiders. Yeah, I think the Broncos definitely win. You got Williams. Williams, he's back, the running back. He's looking solid. Piran, but behind him that you picked up from the Bengals. And I think the Broncos covered at 3.5. I think they covered at 3.5. They're in Denver. So yeah, I think they covered at 3.5 and win. You got the Dolphins versus the Patriots on Sunday night. And the Dolphins are favored by 3. They're favored by 3 to win. I got the Dolphins winning. Definitely have them winning that game. Division opponent against the Patriots in New England. The Patriots, hey, they're gonna fight tough. They showed that against who they played this past week. They're gonna play tough. They're gonna play tough. I just think the Dolphins win. That 3 points, I think it's gonna be a close game. I think it's gonna be a close one. Could go down to a field goal or something. But I think the Dolphins just have too much firepower, and they got Phillips and they have Chubbs on the end. They got Chubb on the end. So yeah, I just think that covering that 3, they possibly could do that. They possibly could do that. Yeah, it's risky in New England. I mean, New England always has a solid defense, but they could possibly cover that 3. Could possibly cover that 3 and win by like a touchdown or something. You got 2 Monday night games. The first one, you got the Saints versus the Panthers. And they got the Saints winning that and they got them winning it by 3 points. Hey, it's in Carolina. I like Carolina's quarterback. I think he's going to be good in the future. He threw 2 picks against Atlanta this past week. But I think I would have to give the Saints the edge it out. It's a division opponent. I have to give it to the Saints to edge it out. Hey, I don't know about that 3 points though. I don't know about that 3 points. That's risky. That's risky, but it's possible they could. But yeah, I think that 3 points is risky. But I do have the Saints winning that. Do have them winning, but you never know. The Panthers could, step up. They could step up. But in the last Monday night game, you got the Browns versus the Steelers. They got the Browns covering that 2.5. They got the Browns favored by 2.5. Hey, that's in Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh coming off a blowout loss to the Niners. Yeah, I got Pittsburgh winning that, man. I got Pittsburgh upsetting the Browns. And yeah, even though the Browns did look impressive, Steelers got a defense. And they picked up some other studs to go with Watt. They picked up some other studs. So hey, I'm seeing Steelers defense going insane in Pittsburgh. And they still don't got a quarterback really. Pickett, he's one of those that, it's up in the air. Still he's just one of those. Hopefully he can manage the game. But yeah, I got the Steelers defense, man, just going insane. So I'm gonna have to pick the Steelers to upset that. But appreciate the support. Go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And take it easy.